My past life came to a close on my 18th birthday. My father, Robert, had flown all the way back from a business trip in Southeast Asia just to be there, a grand gesture that made my heart swell. He presented me with a small velvet box. Inside rested a gold locket necklace, simple but elegant. He told me it was special, that it would bring me an endless stream of good luck and protect my health. His one condition was that I should never, under any circumstances, take it off. I trusted him completely, but from the moment the cool metal settled against my skin, my life took a sharp downturn. Not only did my luck seem to evaporate, but my health began to crumble. It started with small things, then escalated until I was diagnosed with a rare aggressive cancer. After I died, my spirit lingered, and I watched in silent horror as my father moved his mistress, Sylvia, and her daughter, Clara, into the home I grew up in. It was then that the terrible truth was revealed. My death wasn't a tragedy of fate. It was a transaction. My father had used a cursed object to swap my strong destiny with that of his frail, illegitimate daughter. When my mother, Eleanor, discovered this betrayal, her grief turned to a white-hot rage. She waited until Sylvia's family was deep in sleep, set our home ablaze, and took my father down into the flames with her. My spirit, a helpless spectator, could only watch the inferno. Then, with a sudden wrenching pull, I opened my eyes again. I was back in my bedroom, the morning sun streaming through the window. My father stood before me, a broad smile on his face. "Amelia, happy birthday," he said, his voice warm and familiar. "Look what Dad brought back for you from his trip." He pulled a necklace from a bag. It was the same one, a small, shimmering gold locket that looked impossibly exquisite. Just like in my previous life, he had flown back from Southeast Asia on this very day to celebrate his precious daughter's birthday. The gift was identical, as was the story that came with it. He claimed he'd had it specially blessed by a mystic abroad, that it was imbued with powerful energy. He promised it would grant me boundless good fortune, perfect health, and a long, happy life, reminding me again that I must never take it off. It had never occurred to me to question my own father's birthday wishes before, but knowing what I now knew, his words were like poison. After I had first started wearing that necklace, my life had become a parade of misfortunes. Forget good luck, I was plagued by constant bad luck. I was always misplacing things, tripping on perfectly flat ground for no reason, and my closest friends began to drift away from me, citing petty arguments I couldn't even remember starting. Beyond that, my physical well-being deteriorated day by day. I would get small, inexplicable cuts, and colds and fevers became a constant battle. Eventually, the doctors delivered the final blow, a cancer diagnosis. I was gone in less than 3 months. It was only after my soul had departed my body that I learned the locket my father gave me wasn't for a long life at all. It was a fate-swapping artifact. The story pieced itself together in the horrifying aftermath. Not long after my parents were married, my father began an affair with Sylvia. They even had a daughter together, Clara. Unfortunately for them, this child was born frail and sickly. Sylvia, being deeply superstitious, took the child to have her fortune told. The fortune teller delivered a grim prognosis. Her fate was too weak, and she was unlikely to live past the age of 20. To survive, she needed to exchange fates with someone who possessed a strong one. When I was born, my grandmother had my fortune told and was overjoyed to learn I had a noble fate and was destined for a great future. And so, my father and his mistress set their sights on me. Not even a week had passed after my death when my father brought Sylvia and Clara into our home, an act that completely shattered my mother. Perhaps because my will to live had been so fierce, my soul never left the house. I watched, invisible and powerless, as Sylvia pushed my mother to the ground, and as Clara, her face a mask of contempt, smashed my memorial altar. My mother cried and tried to stop them, but my father just stood by, his expression one of cold indifference. "Robert, Amelia was your own daughter. How can you just let them run wild like this?" My mother sobbed, her eyes swollen and her face streaked with tears. In response, my father picked up my memorial photograph and smashed it on the floor. "Let me be honest with you," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. Amelia's death was no accident. Clara's fate is weak. She needed to swap with someone who has a strong fate to survive. I had no choice. It's Amelia's own fault for having such a good fate. My mother completely broke down, her body trembling as she cursed my father and his mistress to a horrible end. Sylvia and her daughter just sneered. The one who died a horrible death was your daughter. My daughter's life is going to be smooth sailing from now on. It wasn't just my mother. I was incandescent with rage. But no matter how I tried to hit them or scream at them, it was useless. That night, to exact her revenge, my mother waited until they were all asleep, lit a massive fire, and died along with them. Wow, this necklace is gorgeous. Thank you, Dad. I beamed, taking the necklace from him and fastening it around my neck. When my father saw me put it on, a flicker of dark triumph crossed his eyes. So fast I would have missed it if I hadn't been looking for it. At that same moment, I made a silent vow. This time, I would make my father and his mistress's family pay a terrible, terrible price. My father stayed for dinner at home, but before we could even bring out the cake, he announced that something urgent had come up at work and left in a hurry. The second the front door clicked shut, I raced to my room and ripped the necklace from my neck. In my last life, I had only overheard my father talking about swapping fates. I wasn't clear on the specific mechanics, or if the necklace was truly the medium for the curse. I remembered a spiritual master I had connected with online, a man who seemed knowledgeable about such things, and I contacted him immediately, sending him a picture of the locket. When he saw it, his expression, even over the video call, turned grave. "You said your father gave you this?" he asked. I nodded. "It was my birthday present today." His brow furrowed deeply. "That's not right. This isn't a good luck charm at all. It's a fate-swapping locket, a form of dark magic that originates from Southeast Asia. Wearing it for an extended period can cause bad luck and illness at best. At worst, it can be fatal." I feigned shock and fear, my voice trembling. "That's terrifying. My dad wouldn't try to hurt me. Maybe he just grabbed the wrong one by mistake." The master shook his head. "No, I am absolutely certain about what this is. If you don't believe me, open the locket. You might find something unexpected inside." Hearing this, I immediately found a small toolkit and carefully pried the tiny locket open. There was indeed something nestled inside, a single strand of hair and a minuscule piece of a fingernail. The master explained that they were likely relics from an infant's corpse, soaked in a special solution for 49 days to amplify their power. A single hair would have been potent enough, but adding a fingernail showed that whoever orchestrated this was desperate to take my life. He was right. My father and that woman were desperate for me to die. The master then told me that once the necklace is worn, simply taking it off doesn't negate the curse. It can only be transferred to another person, not eliminated entirely. A chill crept up from my feet and spread across my entire back. My father was truly a vicious man. If that was how he wanted to play, then he couldn't blame me for what I was about to do next. That afternoon, I went out and had a jeweler create an identical necklace, which I started wearing myself. I had the original one from my dad, altered just enough so that it was completely unrecognizable. Thinking back on my last life, I was so clueless. I never even knew my dad's other daughter, Clara, went to the same high school as me. She was a year below me. In my previous life, she was always targeting me for no apparent reason. She would deliberately bump into me in the hallways or cut in front of me in the cafeteria line. I never understood what I had done to offend her, but after I died, I realized she had always had a crush on my boyfriend, Ethan. Ethan was a total social climber. The moment I died in my last life, he and Clara went public with their relationship. It was obvious they had been secretly involved for a long time. So I placed the beautifully repackaged cursed necklace in a gift box and sent it to Clara, pretending it was a surprise from Ethan. I stood outside the library and watched as Clara delightedly accepted the gift, her face lighting up as she opened the box and happily put on the necklace. Go ahead and smile, I thought to myself. You won't be smiling for much longer. My dad hadn't been home for a while. He claimed he was swamped with work, but I knew he was spending his time with his other family. Seeing my mom worry about him pacing the floor and checking her phone made me anxious. I desperately wanted to tell her the truth about my dad, but I was afraid she wouldn't be able to handle the shock. I needed to find the right moment, a way to gently give her a heads up. That night, just as I was about to go to sleep, my mom knocked and came into my room. She glanced at the replica necklace around my neck and asked, "Amelia, how have things been at school lately?" I thought her question was a bit strange, but I answered honestly. "Everything's fine, Mom." My mom nodded, a small smile on her face. "That's good." Her gaze fell back to my necklace. "By the way, your cousin's baby is having his 1 month celebration soon. I thought the necklace your dad gave you is really nice, so I wanted to get a custom one made just like it for the baby." As she spoke, she reached out to take off my necklace. Clutching it in her palm, she handed me a small wrapped gift box. "Wear this one for now." I nodded and opened the box. Inside was the very necklace I had given to Clara under Ethan's name. The same cursed necklace my dad had originally given me. How on earth did my mom get her hands on this? I trust my mom completely and knew she would never hurt me, so I asked her directly, "Mom, where did you get this?" Hearing my question, she immediately sensed something was wrong. "I bought it at a jewelry shop in the mall just outside our neighborhood. What's wrong with it?" I didn't want to worry her, so I shook my head and forced a smile. "Nothing. I just think it's really pretty." My mom smiled, visibly relieved. "I'm glad you like it." I didn't wear the necklace my mom gave me. I stuck with the replica I had made. The next morning, I took the gift box and went to the mall near our house. As soon as I walked into the jewelry store, I saw Clara and my dad's mistress, Sylvia. They seemed to be in the middle of an argument. "Mom, if you don't have any money, why can't you ask Dad for it? How could you be so selfish and sell my necklace?" Clara said angrily. Sylvia shot her a look. "It's just a stupid necklace. I'm your mother. Once you take that little brat's fate, you can have any necklace you want." "It's not the same. My boyfriend gave it to me." They weren't trying to be quiet, and I heard every word. It wasn't hard to guess that the little brat whose fate was to be stolen was me. And the boyfriend Clara was talking about was my boyfriend Ethan. It was clear my mom buying the necklace had been a pure coincidence. Since Clara seemed to like it so much, I figured I should help her out. I walked up to the counter, and Jessica spotted me. The moment she saw me, a flicker of guilt and panic crossed her face, but she quickly composed herself. I placed the necklace on the counter. "Hi, I'm here to return this." When Clara saw the necklace, she rushed over and snatched it from the counter. "How do you have this?" She glared at me, her eyes fierce. I held up a receipt I had quickly forged. "I bought it, of course. Did you think I stole it?" Sylvia wasn't interested in the necklace in my hand. She was focused on whether I was wearing the one my dad had given me. Her eyes had been scanning my neck ever since I appeared. To put her mind at ease, I deliberately showed off the fake necklace and said to Clara, "See this? It's a birthday present from my dad, all the way from overseas. With this necklace, I don't care about any others." Clara and Sylvia exchanged a look. I caught a fleeting expression of triumph on Sylvia's face. Clara said, "Then you don't need to return it. I'll buy it." I took the $500 Clara transferred to me and left the mall, completely satisfied. Let her wear it, I thought. She'll be singing a different tune soon enough. Ever since I gave Clara the necklace in Ethan's name, Ethan hadn't been clinging to me for days. I knew he was busy cozying up to Clara and had no time for me. Still, he found me on Wednesday afternoon. He asked me to have dinner with him that night. I agreed. He picked a private restaurant near the school. During dinner, Ethan was distracted, constantly checking his phone and texting someone. Suddenly, he asked me, "Amelia, are you wearing the necklace your dad gave you?" My chopsticks froze midair. I had never told Ethan about my dad's gift. The only way he could know was if Clara told him. I swallowed my suspicion and nodded. "Yeah, I am. Why?" Ethan shook his head and replied to a text. A moment later, his phone rang. He grabbed his phone with a panicked look and explained, "It's my mom. I'm going to step outside to take this." When his screen lit up, I caught a quick glimpse. The name on the screen was clearly Clara. He was already calling her by her first name. He still had me saved in his phone by my full name, Amelia Gao. A few minutes later, Ethan came back and said something had come up and he had to leave. I nodded and told him to go. The moment he left, I hailed a cab and followed him. He went to the downtown hospital. In a room on the 5th floor, Clara was lying in bed, with my dad and Sylvia gathered around her. As soon as Ethan walked in, my dad couldn't help but ask, "Are you sure she's wearing that necklace?" "Robert, I'm 100% sure. The necklace is on Amelia's neck." "Then why isn't it Amelia who's sick? Why is it Clara?" Listening from outside the room, I couldn't help but clench my fists. My dad really couldn't wait for me to die in Clara's place. "Robert, what do we do now?" Ethan looked at Clara with deep concern, acting as if he were truly in love. My dad frowned. "You keep an eye on Amelia. Don't let her take that necklace off, and don't let her know that we know each other. Got it?" It was only then that I realized my dad and Ethan had known each other all along. Looking back on my past life, I remembered trying to take the necklace off several times, but Ethan always stopped me. He'd say, "Didn't your dad say this is to protect you and give you a long life? You can't take it off. You have to wear it." I actually thought he wanted me to live a long life. It turns out he was just like my dad, wanting me to die for Clara as soon as possible. After leaving the hospital, I went straight home. The moment I got back, I felt dizzy and lightheaded. My head throbbed and my heart pounded in my chest. Just as I was about to collapse, my mom rushed over and caught me. My mom helped me to my room. As soon as I lay down, the replica necklace, which had been hidden under my collar, slipped out. When my mom saw it, her face turned pale. She became agitated, yanked the necklace off my neck, and threw it across the room. She yelled at me, "Didn't I give you a new necklace? Why are you still wearing this one?" I stared at her, stunned. I had a feeling she knew something. The next second, she hugged me tightly and started crying. "Amelia, I'm so sorry. Mommy didn't protect you. It's all my fault. Don't worry, Mom's here now. I won't let anyone hurt you, not even your own father." I was bewildered, my voice hoarse as I called out, "Mom?" My mom looked up, her eyes filled with tears. You were reborn too?" My mom's eyes flickered with recognition. "Amelia, you know everything?" I nodded. "Mom, I already swapped the necklace Dad gave me. This one is a fake. The one you bought back from the mall is the real one he gave me." My mom's face instantly became serious. "Where is that necklace? You didn't keep it, did you? Throw it away quickly." "Don't worry, I'm not wearing it. That necklace is around Clara's neck now." I told my mom everything, how I had set Clara up. After hearing the story, my mom let out a huge sigh of relief. Thank goodness, thank goodness. But if the necklace is on Clara, why are you still sick?" My mom touched my burning forehead, her expression growing worried again. I didn't understand either. Could it be that the necklace's influence hadn't fully transferred yet? While we were both wondering, my mom's phone suddenly rang. It was my dad. My mom put it on speaker and my dad's voice came through. The first thing he asked was where I was. Hearing this made my mom furious. "Robert, can't you show a little concern for your daughter? She's burning up with a fever and you don't even know. How dare you ask me where she is?" "What did you say? Amelia has a fever?" My dad's voice didn't show a hint of worry, but rather a trace of suppressed excitement. My mom rolled her eyes in anger. "Robert, do you even care about this family anymore?" "Who says I don't? I'll be home in a bit." With that, my dad hung up in a hurry. My dad got back pretty quickly, but he wasn't alone. He brought someone with him. My mom looked at the old man standing next to my dad, dressed in a traditional Taoist robe with white hair and a long beard. She asked, "Robert, what is this? Your daughter is sick, and instead of getting a doctor, you bring home a priest?" My dad explained patiently. "This is Master Wei. He's very powerful. Amelia isn't sick. She's been cursed." With that, he gave the master a look. The master nodded and walked toward my room. My mom panicked and tried to block him, but my dad pulled her away. My dad held my mom back while the so-called Master Wei went to work on me. After Master Wei entered my room, he locked the door behind him. I watched him warily. When he turned around, I was completely stunned. This Master Wei was the same master I had met online. Little Pumpkin, it's me, Master Wei said, using my online nickname. Master, what are you doing here? It turned out that because Clara had gotten sick, my dad had been desperately searching for solutions online and happened to find Master Wei. My dad briefly described the situation, saying he wanted to swap the fates of his two daughters. Master Wei immediately thought of me. Later, my dad even showed him a photo of the fate-swapping locket from Southeast Asia. Master Wei recognized the locket, confirmed it was about me, and decided to take my dad's case. Master Wei had a great reputation, so my dad trusted him completely. Little Pumpkin, I never imagined your father could be so monstrous. To think he'd want to use your life to save his other daughter. I never imagined it either, so what did my dad ask you to do? I asked. Master Wei said, his illegitimate daughter's condition has worsened. He wants me to hurry up and swap your fates. Swapping fates is a terrible, karmically damaging act. Don't worry, I may have taken your dad's money, but I take the money, I don't do the work. Even though I was already disappointed in him, hearing it confirmed with my own ears still felt like a sharp pain in my heart. Memories I didn't want to think about came flooding back. Memories of my childhood. Could all that affection have been an act? I don't understand. I'm his daughter, too. How could he be so cruel to me? I couldn't help but cough, my body burning even hotter. Master Wei frowned. This doesn't look like an illness to me, it seems more like a secondary curse. Swapping fates isn't simple. Your father must have had a backup plan. Besides the locket, I suspect he did something else to you. Think hard. Have you eaten or drunk anything unusual recently? I tried my best to remember. Lately, I'd only eaten at the school cafeteria or at home. My mom cooked all the food at home, so that was safe. The school cafeteria is too crowded to target just me. Thinking it over, the only thing was that meal with Ethan today. When Ethan arrived, he brought me a fruit tea. I drink tea from that shop all the time, but the one he brought me today tasted different from usual. The fruit in it seemed old and it had a strange, musty taste. I even complained at the time that the tea wasn't fresh. I told the master and he nodded, pulling a yellow paper talisman from his bag. It was probably the fruit tea. Keep this talisman with you. Carry it for 7 days, then burn it, and you'll be back to normal. Master Wei was afraid that staying too long would raise suspicion. After I took the talisman, he quickly left. After he went out, I pretended to faint. My dad heard the door open and came to look. Seeing me lying on the bed with a pale face, he let out a long sigh of relief. Master, you took care of everything, I asked, right? Master Wei nodded. Let's go. I've used a lot of my energy and need to rest. My dad smiled and led him away, not even thinking of coming into the room to check on his supposedly dying daughter. My mom held me and cried her heart out. After Master Wei gave me the talisman, my health improved significantly. Mom, you're choking me, I managed to say. Seeing that I was awake, my mom immediately let go and wanted to take me to the hospital. I told her I was much better. She didn't believe me until I showed her the talisman from Master Wei. After what happened today, my mom decided she couldn't just sit back and wait. She was going to fight back. She was going to expose my dad and Sylvia, ruin their reputations, and make them social outcasts that everyone despised. To help me recover better, my mom got me excused from school on sick leave. A week later, I burned the talisman Master Wei had given me, and just as he said, I was back to my energetic self. However, to avoid arousing suspicion from my dad and Clara, I deliberately acted weak and sickly whenever I was at school. Back at school, I don't know if Ethan thought I was about to die, but he dropped all pretenses and broke up with me. The day after we broke up, he and Clara got together. I couldn't have been happier to be rid of that jerk. Thanks to Master Wei's help, Clara's condition improved significantly and the color returned to her face. A couple of days later, she was back at school. But upon her return, she seemed like a different person. There was an indescribable strangeness to her every move. Her eyes, in particular, always held a dark, unsettling glint, like a sewer rat. I couldn't help but remember my past life. After wearing my dad's necklace for a long time, there was a period when my mom also said I seemed to have changed, that I seemed dazed and not myself. I figured the necklace Clara was wearing was starting to take effect. Let Clara have a good taste of the suffering I went through in my last life. In 2 days, it would be the annual school festival. Every year, each class puts on a performance and the order is decided by a lottery. Our class was scheduled to perform right after Clara's. While waiting backstage, Clara and I ran into each other in the dressing room. We were sitting back to back. As I was doing my makeup, I noticed Clara staring at me intensely through the mirror, her gaze chilling and sinister. After finishing my makeup, I started arranging my costume. Clara suddenly walked over to me and whispered, "You were lucky. You dodged a bullet." Then she let out a couple of eerie, piercing laughs. The stage manager urged Clara's class to get ready. As Clara left, she gave me a meaningful look before joining her group to go on stage. Her class was performing a dance routine. Not long after they started, there was an accident on stage. Clara fell. Hearing the screams, curiosity drove everyone to the front of the stage. When I saw Clara on the ground, her legs bent at an unnatural angle with broken bones piercing through her skin, I finally understood what she had said in the dressing room. I had dodged a bullet. That suffering was meant for me. The thought sent a cold shiver down my spine. I don't remember how I got home. All I know is that when I got there, I threw up a mouthful of blood. My mom was terrified and immediately rushed me to the hospital, but after a full checkup, they couldn't find anything wrong. "Amelia, don't scare Mommy. What's happening to you?" When I didn't respond, my mom was at a loss and had to call my dad. "Honey, where are you? Come back quickly." Amelia's not going to make it." My mom sobbed into the phone. "What's wrong with Amelia?" "Ever since she got home from school, she's been like a zombie. She threw up so much blood, but the doctors can't find anything wrong." "Oh, is that Master Wei you brought last time still available? Please ask him to come and check on Amelia." "Okay, wait for me at home." A short while later, my dad arrived with Master Wei. The master took one look at me and let out a heavy sigh. My dad asked, "Master, what's wrong with my daughter?" "A malevolent spirit has possessed her body. It's too late to save her." My mom looked as if she'd been struck by lightning. She grabbed Master Wei's arm like it was a lifeline and begged him, "Master, please, I beg you. I'll give you anything you want. She's my only daughter. I'm begging you to save her, even if you have to take my life instead." Alas, it's too late. It's really too late. "Is there really no hope?" my dad asked, a little skeptical, especially since Clara had just had her accident. "Prepare for her funeral," Master Wei said, shaking his head gravely. At the downtown hospital, Clara was still in a coma. When Sylvia heard that Clara's legs would have to be amputated, she cried until her eyes were red and swollen. "Robert, didn't you say everything was taken care of? Why did this happen to Clara? She loves dancing so much. Amputating her legs is like taking her life." Robert also looked worried. "Master Wei just went to see Amelia. He said she can't be saved." "Why isn't she dead yet? If her fate wasn't so strong, this wouldn't have happened to my daughter. I wish she would just die already," Sylvia said, gnashing her teeth at the mention of my name. All right. Maybe this time it really was an accident. "Once Amelia dies, Clara will get better," my dad comforted her. "Better how? If Amelia dies, will my daughter get her legs back?" "Then what else do you want? I've already sacrificed one daughter for Clara." Sylvia's gaze turned cold as she blurted out, "I don't just want Amelia's life. I want your wife Eleanor's life too." My dad looked stunned. "What? You can't bear to part with her? If you can't, then don't ever see me again. I'll take my daughter and marry someone else." My dad quickly pulled Sylvia into his arms. "Sylvia, don't say things you don't mean. I don't like to hear it. You know that between you and her, I've always chosen you." "That's more like it." Sylvia nestled into my dad's embrace, looking shy and content. At the entrance of our home, white lanterns were hung high. My mom was burning paper money in front of my empty coffin. In the dim light of the doorway, two dark figures stood for a long time. My mom looked up and saw Sylvia holding my dad's arm, slowly walking toward the living room. "Your daughter's been dead for days, and you're finally showing up?" my mom said sarcastically as she continued to burn the paper. Sylvia walked straight up to my mom and kicked over the burning brazier. Eleanor, stop burning that. Your daughter won't receive it anyway. My mom shot up and, quick as lightning, slapped Sylvia hard across the face. This is my house. Who do you think you are? Seeing Sylvia get hit, my dad pulled her behind him and gave my mom a hard shove. My mom had been under a lot of stress and was already weak. My dad used all his strength, and she fell backward. My mom's eyes were bloodshot as she stared at the two of them. Robert, don't you have anything to say? Eleanor, for the sake of our many years of marriage, I might as well tell you. Sylvia and I have been together for a long time. And we have a daughter together. My mom's chest heaved with anger. Robert, you're really something else, hiding this from me for so many years. So why are you telling me now? Because Amelia's dead, so there's no need to hide it anymore. My mom's eyes widened in shock. Robert, what do you mean by that? Don't tell me Amelia's death has something to do with you. Sylvia suddenly burst out laughing. Eleanor, you really are a stupid woman. Did you never think it was strange that Amelia got sick and started throwing up blood for no reason? The realization dawned on my mom. It was you. You did all of this. I'm not afraid to tell you now. Yes, we did it, Sylvia gloated. Eleanor, if you want to blame someone, blame your daughter for having such a good fate. My daughter's fate is weak, and she needed someone like your daughter to swap with to survive. Your daughter can be considered to have died for a worthy cause by swapping fates with my daughter. In a hidden corner, a phone was silently live-streaming everything happening in the main hall. What is this crazy drama? A scumbag husband kills his own daughter for his mistress? This mistress is so shameless, not just shameless, but evil. I can't believe fate swapping is real. What did the wife's daughter ever do wrong? This is premeditated murder. Can someone call the police and send this awful couple to jail? Already called the cops. Jail is too good for them. People like this should be drowned, sent to hell. For the first time, I'm hoping ghosts are real. Get revenge on these two. My mom's face was ashen. Robert, Sylvia, aren't you afraid of retribution for what you've done? Retribution? You should be worrying about yourself right now, Sylvia said with a triumphant look. I'm so angry watching this. Can I hire a goon? I can't take it anymore. Just spent $10,000 on boosting this stream, pushing it to the top. I hope this scumbags and this witch's bosses see this. Fire them immediately. Never seen someone so stupid admitting to an affair. If they divorce, this guy will leave with nothing. Exactly. Don't leave him a single penny. What are you trying to do? My mother asked Sylvia. Sylvia smiled wickedly. Naturally, to send you down to join your daughter. With that, Sylvia advanced on my mom step by step. My dad made no move to stop her, just watching coldly. Just then, the front door of the house slammed open with a loud bang, kicked in from the outside. Several police officers stormed in with their guns drawn. In the end, my dad and Sylvia were found guilty of murder and sent to prison. I watched the news on my phone about my dad and Sylvia's sentencing and smiled with relief. Mom, I have to say, your acting is amazing. I gave my mom a thumbs up. My mom was a little embarrassed by the praise. If I didn't make it look convincing, how would your dad and Sylvia have fallen for it? But we have to thank you for coming up with the fake death plan. It let the whole country see their ugly true colors. It was so satisfying. That's right, I didn't die. To be precise, Amelia Gao died. The person living now is Amelia Chen. After my dad was arrested, my mom quickly divorced him and I changed my last name to my mother's. I made some fish soup. Take some to Master Wei later. We owe him a big thanks for how smoothly everything went. Okay. The new place my mom and I moved to wasn't far from Master Wei's home. I brought the fish soup to Master Wei, and he was delighted. I thought of Clara in the hospital room and couldn't help but ask, Master, how is Clara? If you could say my dad was capable of love, he certainly had none for me. But if you said he was heartless, he still worried about Clara in the hospital, even after he and Sylvia went to prison. After being imprisoned, he had someone find Master Wei, gave him a sum of money, and begged him to look after Clara. When I asked about Clara, Master Wei was clearly taken aback. He shook his head. The situation is not optimistic. Then I'll go see her off. I went to the hospital at night. When Clara saw me, she looked like she had seen a ghost, shrinking into her blanket and repeating, "Don't come here, don't come here." I yanked the blanket off her. "Clara, look at me carefully. I'm not dead." A look of astonishment crossed her face. "Impossible! Impossible! How could you not be dead?" She muttered for a moment, and her, "How could you not be dead?" turned into, "Why aren't you the one who's dead?" "Because you're not dead yet. How could I possibly die before you?" She caught sight of the replica necklace around my neck, her face filled with disbelief. "You've been wearing this necklace the whole time? Why is nothing wrong with you?" I laughed. "Because this necklace is a fake. Do you want to know where the real fate-swapping locket is?" "Where is it?" My gaze moved slowly from her face down to her neck. "It's the necklace you treasure so much." She trembled with rage, ripped the necklace from her neck, and threw it far away. No wonder. No wonder she never got better. No wonder she ended up like this. The necklace had been swapped a long time ago. Throwing the necklace away is useless because it's already too late. Clara, what goes around comes around. Now you can experience all the pain I suffered. Clara was terrified because she knew exactly what kind of misfortune wearing that fate-swapping locket would bring. The night I left the hospital, I heard that Clara climbed to the roof of the hospital, jumped, and died instantly. Just like the fortune teller said, Clara didn't live past 20. Not long after Clara's death, when Sylvia heard the news in her prison cell, she lost her will to live and followed her daughter. My dad lost everything. He couldn't handle the successive blows and had a complete mental breakdown. 3 months after leaving my hometown for a new city, a news story played on TV. The police had arrested a group of old charlatans who were making money off fake fortune-telling. Their usual trick was to tell people they had a weak fate and then get them to pay for a solution. Every day with my mom in our new city, I felt incredibly happy and content. Later, I successfully got into the graduate program for theology at the local university. My friends from my old hometown heard the news and came to celebrate with me. Ethan came too. He brought me a bouquet of flowers. He said he remembered that I loved flowers, and he claimed that the reason he left me and got with Clara was a moment of weakness, that Clara had seduced him. I looked at the bouquet of red roses in his hands and couldn't help but scoff. "Ethan, you're right that I like flowers, but you brought the wrong ones. My favorite flowers are sunflowers, not roses. Roses were Clara's favorite. Then I'll only bring you sunflowers from now on." "Amelia, can you forgive me?" I shook my head. "No, because you're even more disgusting to me than Clara is." With that, I turned and walked away without looking back. After I got back, I blocked Ethan on everything and focused on my studies. After all, you can't rely on men. My dad proved that, and so did Ethan. The only person you can truly rely on is yourself.